Sehr gut. Sehr gut.
I'm a time traveler from the year 2025, and I've come here to kill you, Hitler.
Oh, not again. I'm never gonna have enough time to finish these paintings with all of these time travelers trying to kill me.
Well, I'm going to succeed.
Before you pull the trigger, can I just ask why? Why do all of you people want to kill me?
Isn't it obvious? I'm a progressive, a liberal, a fighter for social justice. And you are a fascist who implemented a reign of terror. And while the effects of your policies devastated the world for decades, soon we will be able to take back the White House, and we will be able to use the government to force people to follow our great ideas.
You want to use government power to force your ideas on the populace. Me too! That's fantastic!
What? No. Ugh. You and I have nothing in common. What I'm saying is there are people in our time with dangerous ideas, and we need to silence them.
Silencing those who disagree with you. I do that too! Oh, wunderbar! Oh, the Nazi movement will not die with me.
Don't give me that! I'm enlightened, and you're as bad as... well, as Hitler. Listen, what I'm trying to say is we are very close to implementing a utopia, as long as we can get rid of some certain undesirable people groups.
Yes, like the Jews.
Yes, like the Jews. Oh.
So, in the future, you also do not like the Jews?
Well, no. But we don't believe in segregating all the races like you do. I mean, except for, like, graduation ceremonies. And dorms. And hiring practices. Oh, and admissions policies. That sort of thing.
I, too, am a fan of the segregation. I'm sorry, I have to ask, is this a real firearm or is this some kind of toy for kids?
It's a flare gun. I'm trying not to support America's toxic gun culture. I'm a firm believer in gun control.
Gun control! This was one of my ideas, too. Ban them from the undesirables. Yes, look here. Oh, and your shirt. This is an organization founded by Margaret Sanger. Yes?
Wait, you know about Margaret Sanger?
Jawohl, of course. Oh, she's such a lovely person.
No. She's a fighter for reproductive rights, for women's empowerment,
and the eradication of undesirable populations by means of eugenics. Brilliant lady, very inspiring. I must use some of her ideas in our socialized healthcare system.
Socialized healthcare? That's not your thing. That's our thing.
No, it's very much my thing. Did you know that Nazi means National Socialist German Workers' Party? Nazi is just more catchy. Nazi. Just rolls off the tongue.
No. This can't be true. This has to be some sort of mistake. We are nothing alike. You're Adolf Hitler, evil right-wing fascist dictator, and I'm a feminist restorative justice advocate. And a vegetarian.
You're a vegetarian? Me too!
Okay, I am so confused right now. I came here with a clear goal in mind to kill the most evil man who I've ever lived. Besides Ronald Reagan. But now that I'm meeting you in person, you're not at all what I thought you were. And your painting is actually really good. What do you call it?
I call it Ein Reich ohne Juden.
Wow. I don't know what that means, but it sounds beautiful.
It does, doesn't it?
Hey, folks, welcome to the program. Do me a favor, please. Share this program, please. Would you please just rumble, share, like, follow, etc.? We're going to go on another incredible deep dive journey into the shite, the deep shite, closely related to the deep state. In fact, they go together. One produces the other. Hey, today's program is brought to you by the fine folks at Goldco. Here's all I am asking you to do. It is the simplest thing to do. Have no idea why nobody would just do it to cover themselves. I'm just asking you to go to JovanLovesGold.com and open a dialogue with my partners at Goldco. Just request your free gold and silver kit today. It is that simple. That's it. Because now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver. There is no other better indicator, right, that something is going on than to understand how foreign countries, right, are hoarding gold. Period. Hoarding gold. And they're doing it, and you should pay attention because they know something we don't. And I know it's coming, and it's going to be this digital dollar convert. So if you have a 401k, IRA, retirement savings account, quit sitting on your aspirin bottle. Please go to JovanLovesGold.com. Request your free gold and silver kit today. And besides, you might find you qualify to get $10,000 in free silver. Hey, folks, I've got the CB distillery back for you. Yeah, I know, you know, this stuff's the bomb. And I brought it back. The folks at CB Distillery know that you're coming up on holidays with families. You're probably having some tossing and turning sleepless nights about it, right? You know, those nights when you just don't sleep. Next day, you're dragging, exhausted. Everything feels harder. That's where CBD from CB Distillery can make a real difference. Get a heads up before you have a house full of family soon. But it's not just about sleeping. That's why, because it's about de-stress. CB Distillery has solutions that work with your body to help with that stress. Pain after exercise, pain during relatives' visits, pain looking at liberals, even mood and focus. And it's made with the highest quality clean ingredients. No fillers, just premium CBD. Imagine waking up rested. Imagine looking into the eyes of a liberal and being okay. They don't bug you that much. Well, enjoy your day without nagging aches and pains and stress. That's the real win of CB Distillery's the solution, right? Okay. That's why over 2 million people trust CB Distillery. Mine is the roll-on, folks. That's the bomb. The roll-on pain relief. Got a code for you, too. So if you're ready for better sleep, less stress, feeling good in your own skin, fore or aft, try CBD from CB Distillery right now. You can save 25% off your entire purchase. Visit CB Distillery. Use promo code Jovan. That's CB Distillery, promo code Jovan, CBDistillery.com. Try it out. It's the bomb. Use the code. Oh, look at that. Promo DE. I guess I should correct that. How about this? Promo code. Is that it? Or I have promo code node code. Must have been prior to coffee or kofefe. That's what I drink. Okay. I've got a download for you that goes with this program. It is a declassified FBI 302 document. Declassified. It's over at my locals, JovanHuttonPulitzer.locals.com. It goes hand in hand with this program. We're going to be talking about Shifty. Is he in the SHITE? You're going to want to know the details of this one. You're not getting the full details. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to tell you why this is serious. Then we're going to talk about this document. I'm going to tell you why it's serious, and you need to know give you a little bit of time to get set up to share this all across your social media. I know you want to see Schiff on a stick, a jagged pointed stick. Get a little dip into the shite with this guy. Yep. Get ready. We're going to get started in a few minutes.
Then another sign appeared in heaven. An enormous red dragon. Revelation 12:3.
Once again, an armed attack in the Middle East, but this time it's different.
October 7th was the devil's holiday.
It's very hard to believe what happened, even though I was there and seeing with my own eyes and seeing them laughing and killing and having fun with it.
Because if you don't open the door, they are going to kill you and they are going to kill me, so please open the door.
So who are the Jews? Who are the Palestinians? And whose land is it really? Could the fate of the world, of humanity itself, be somehow tied to this place?
The nation of Israel is a resurrected nation. So what if there was going to be a resurrection of another people, an enemy people of Israel? The Bible speaks about this whole war as a dragon representing the enemy attacking a woman representing Israel.
The civilian deaths on both sides represent victories on the part of the dragon.
Hamas did everything within their ability to maximize the civilian casualty.
We came back to a land that was largely barren and empty, and we brought it back to life, and we're going to keep it.
The devil hates the Jewish people because they represent the existence of God.
Because without that Jewish foundation, there is no Christianity.
If we're approaching the end of time, God will reveal himself more and more dramatically.
Speak back through the stones.
The story that they've been telling is that Israel is a colonial project. The problem with that is the city of David. We are an inconvenient truth.
Are you aware of any significant archaeological finding that contradicts the Bible?
No.
God's word stands firm. The dragon will not prevail.
Your message here is become a dragon slayer.
Based on Jonathan Cahn's #1 international bestseller, The Dragon.
Warning. The following program has been rated Gilligaff and is intended for open-minded audiences. If the truth offends you, or if you are allergic to focused intensity, intellectual athleticism, or the occasional F-bomb or even irreverent humor, please switch off now. If your delicate sensibilities need to be worried about or addressed, might we recommend the Underwater Basket Weaving channel to you? Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the wisdom, insight, and wicked sense of humor.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians? The elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused emotional socialist snowflake crowd. Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, JovanHuttonPulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, JovanHuttonPulitzer.
Okay, folks, welcome to the crap. In fact, this program, we're not going to talk about crap. We're going to get a little more graphic. We're going to talk about the shite. Is Adam Shifty Schiff in some deep shite? Well, it seems that an intelligence staffer has spilled the beans to the FBI. You may have heard a little bit of rumor about this. I'm sure there's a lot of backroom negotiations. I want to remind you of a few things that I educated you on years ago. And yes, we're going to find out if Schiff's about to hit the fan. Literally. Okay, do you remember back during the Russia collusion hoax? Schiff would be standing right outside of these big double wooden doors. And he basically stood there, Trump's bad, Trump's this, Trump that, Russia. We have the evidence. We have it all, blah, blah, blah. I told you the wordsmithing perimeter legalities of that. See, when Shifty Schiff was outside that particular set of doors, he could, by law, lie, and it was not a crime. Inside those chamber doors, everything had to be truthful, or there is a, criminal offense, criminal penalties. And these guys know it. And that's kind of why they keep reporter outside the doors. And you had Schiff saying, and we saw it all. We did this. We heard this. It's because they can do it. Well, right now there has been a issue. Okay. And Schiff might be in some deep shite. And so, for me, for somebody to say, well, I hate to tell you this, but the FBI is bad. Well, Captain Obvious, you probably need to go back to the Travel Channel commercials because we know that. Every one of us know it. Think about it. We don't trust our healthcare system. We don't trust our lawmakers. We don't trust our policing or security or intelligence agencies. Duh. Newsflash. Been there, done that. We know it. We've been talking about it for a long time. And so what we're trying to do is knowledge and transparency is the disinfectant. If you think the government's going to change anything, you're wrong. You're wrong. And so for those of you that have been with me here for years, you know this. And what I do is try to give you the inside information, explain how it works. I can't personally tutelage everybody, but it's probably why most people should have been watching me for years and why they try to push you away from not getting the scoop from me. So shifty eyes, so many jokes in this, man. Pencil neck and pencil prick. An intelligence staffer has been interviewed by the FBI. So I'm going to give you some broad scopes, almost said scrotum, but hey, it applies, right? What happened is an HPSCI staffer, HPSCI staffer, right, has come forward and said, Schiff is shifty. Well, we kind of know that, right? We kind of know that. Now, what's interesting is this is a Democrat whistleblower. It is a Democrat whistleblower. Okay. Now, what has happened here for Shifty Schiff is in intra-agency, see, the House Intelligence Committee, and I always think how nuts, right? How nuts is it that this guy was over the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence? The only one that would have been worse would be Maxine Waters. This is where you realize that most of these, and I've come to realize it, most of quote unquote our lawmakers are inserted, they're selected, and they're freaking puppets for money, sex, favors, etc. That's it. He was seeded, planted, and grown there. Is he a fall guy? No. Maybe a fraud guy, but not a fall guy. Clearly in on it. But I'm beginning to think that, man, so many of our elected officials, the groomers who groom the kids, groom politicians, groom them to be into office to play roles. It's freaking kabuki theater, right? It is worse than any kabuki porn you could ever watch. It is just bukkake BS, right? And these guys get placed in. Well, this fellow, believe it or not, used to be over the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. It's why I even hate the term election integrity, because there is no integrity in elections, right? At all. And in our House intelligence, there is no intelligence, and it's not permanent. It's very flexible depending upon who puts you in. Well, the document in question is this document. Now, let me tell you what the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence is over. You ready for this? Now, I want you to think about Schiff when you think this. Here's the pencil neck point of the pyramid, which means he was over the CIA, the National Security Agency, the FBI's intelligence branch, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the National Reconnaissance Office, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, and the intelligence arms of the Departments of State, Treasury, Homeland Security, and Defense. This guy. It's kind of like Swallowswell with his little Chinese intelligence asset. That's what this guy was responsible for. Now, the general gist of the, or jizz, it applies to, of the information is, right? An inside Democrat whistleblower who is a former intelligence staffer during the time says that Shifty Schiff authorized and directed two things, and directed the leak of the classified information in 2017 that brought about the investigation of Trump, Russia. Sorry, Russia. I forgot to. That he authorized the leak. So I'm going to kind of peel this back so you understand the agency. What does it mean to be a staffer, etc.? Okay. And over on my locals, I have given you the actual document. It's called an FD 302. It's about 16 pages long. A lot of interesting information in it. You can download it and read for yourself. Okay. Right? And yes, we don't put links in chat because we can't vet them in advance. And we don't want people getting confused on links and clicking to find out that there's MRA in your food. And we'll tell you how to find it if you pay us $99. Yeah, we don't do chats. Okay. And so when you think about this guy and he has purview in that position, okay, purview in that position, it's kind of glaring, isn't it? It's just kind of glaring that this guy would be in a position, right, that high up. And yes, by the way, you're probably reading in the headlines today, major crash of AWS, Amazon Web Services, stuff all across the Eastern Seaboard. A lot of big things went down. This was probably the equivalent to a government hack in a big way. This is not a small deal. I'm not really talking about it a lot because I don't have details, but I'm telling you, with this happening, everybody should be alarmed. Everybody should be alarmed. Anyway, Shifty Shift is the head of this, or was the head of this House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Now, it was created in 1977. Why was it created in 1977? To make sure nothing like Watergate ever happened again. Watergate is no big damn deal to what's going on now. A lot of times when I was in DC, etc., in New York, I would often catch the DC to New York early morning shuttle. My seatmate to the other side, got to know each other and chat a bit, was G. Gordon Liddy, Mr. Watergate himself. It was very interesting to learn and find out information, right, about that time in history. But it was created to basically make sure never a Watergate happened again. So think of the moronic. You got to remember, this is oxymoron, meaning shift, moronic. Did that stop anything here? Of course not. And I think the Russia was far worse than Watergate. Don't you? Watergate is nothing compared to this. Anyway, now here's why this is a big deal. The House Permanent Select Committee has tremendous jurisdiction. And so their exclusive jurisdiction is they run all the black budgets, which currently in the Biden administration, they were having a problem getting into the black budgets. Yeah, everybody says that money's in the black budget, and everybody said, oh, we don't say that anymore. That's so disrespectful. But because nobody could bring themselves to say black budget, they couldn't find the money. Also, they have oversight of all intelligence collection, analysis, counterintelligence, and covert actions. This guy. Man, this is, again, that's why I say it's oxymoronic. This guy being over that. They have investigations of intelligence failures, foreign interference, and leaks. They review classified reports and briefing from intelligence agencies. And they determine who in Congress gets to see access to materials. In short, Congress's top secret oversight body for the intelligence community. And it's this guy who is in charge of it. This guy. Yeah. When you think of the scope and the power that this pencil neck wielded, holy shite. It's a more polite word for crap, if you know what I mean. So what would be his direct roles? Here's his timeline, right? He got involved in the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence by having no intelligence, and that started in 2008. It was a neck and neck between him and Maxine Waters. Now, remember, you hear a lot about air gapping in elections. Well, they modeled it after Maxine Waters' left and right ears. That is the perfect analogy for total air gapping, but they decided to go with pencil neck. Okay. So he started in 2008 to kind of basically now. From January 2019 to 2023, he was the chairman of the committee. Would an administration or anything even be that stupid? It'd be kind of like, well, it'd be kind of like choosing for the person to be in charge of health for the entire country, somebody who was morbidly obese and maybe a dude with a dong thinking is a woman. People wouldn't do that, would they? Well, yeah, it kind of runs in it. But since it was a neck and neck, the smaller neck won. It's easy to know why. Smaller the neck, right? Easier to choke out. And then there's this whole thing about him in a hotel and a kid and Anthony Bourdain. Maybe they were going to ultimately have a kid exterminate him if he got out of control. Therefore, pencil neck might be the call for today. I don't know. You can look up the Bourdain story yourself. Anyway, okay. And yes, what you need to know is the Republicans just sat on their hoo-hoos. From 2015 to 2019, he was both the rank and the ranking member, top Democrat, while Republicans held the majority. Conservatives in charge conservatives hold the majority, and here's what bubbles to the top. Again, if you look across our nation and you look for the little red patches of red of conservative and the little blue freckles of extreme liberals, have you ever wondered why our parties are kind of split 50-50? Let me say that again. If you look across our country and you see all the counties and precincts red, and you see a few little blue freckles, have you ever asked yourself, why is our Congress and Senate kind of split 50-50? Because it's how they control us. So we're talking about Shifty Schiff. We're talking about the FBI investigation of a staffer. And then I'm giving you where this pencil neck was the top ranking member. Okay. So now let me kind of give you about staffers so you understand where the staffers come through in this process, because it's about a staffer who leaked. Supposedly it's a Democrat staffer whistleblower about Schiff. Hold your breath for a few days. Somebody say, whistleblower's going to get Tina out because it was a staffer and there was a piece of paper and it said Smartmatic. This one evidently seems to be a true whistleblower. Okay. So here's what a staffer is, right? Is when it comes to what Shifty Schiff would have been over, these are the type of people that were been involved. Anyway, a staffer holds a top secret and sensitive compartmentalized information clearance. It's their particular clearance. They are allowed access to the most classified programs in the U.S. government. I've always told you, term limits really don't mean anything. Most people never think about this. Let's say you're a brand new senator. If somehow you found your way, you were, oh my God, Mr. Save Our Elections, and China did it with drones, and I'm going to fly it in and find them all out. And all of a sudden you become a senator. You find yourself a senator because everybody's seeing your mug on TV. Do you think you go to DC and you bring all the people that you want to work for you and be your entire staff? Do you think that actually happens? You're now a figurehead. You go into DC. You may get to bring one person with you. All your other staff are supplied by your party, and they've been insiders for 20, 30, 40 years. Those are the people that move things around. Not really the pencil necks. These are the useful puppets. So even if you had term limits, it's the same handlers. Get it? Anyway, okay. And so people that are on these committees get to access all of this stuff. They see all the draft reports. They prepare the witnesses for basically interrogations or whatever, or when people from the agencies are going to go sit in front of Congress, some staffer says, okay, here's what you say when you say it. Most of these people come from backgrounds in intelligence, defense, and law. Okay? And they are sworn under oath to protect classified material under the Espionage Act and other laws. Sworn under oath to protect classified material under the Espionage Act and other laws. These are the staffers. Okay? Now, if you had to look at these staffers, and I'm giving you this because we're talking about Shifty Schiff might be in a bunch of shite, and we're talking about this FBI report, right? And I don't know a lot of handlers. I thought they all named Chelsea. You're right. But anyway, here is the clearances, right? Et cetera. Here, you just got all the stuff. I gave you all the stuff. You know, they got to come from different backgrounds, et cetera. And, well, a staffer gave an interview saying that the classified leaks, big issue, or improper coordination, big issue, was done on purpose. Was done on purpose, right? It's kind of like, hey, they were putting mRNA in your food. Con job. Anyway, you understand? The staffers see everything, hear everything, know everything, right? And they're in the business just like Spammy Tammy. It's just junk and crap, okay? Now, the staffers and everything that goes on, okay, are going to report to this guy. So what are some of his actual duties that he had to do? See, Schiff's responsibility is what he had to do is he had to receive and review classified briefings from intelligence agencies. This guy. I just want you to think about that. I can't comprehend this because when I see this shifty character who will say anything and do anything, right? Is there anything to you that reeks of intelligence in there? Right? Now, I'm going to say it again. I don't care what you're posting in comments. Don't post in comments. Don't take over the chat. Don't try to make it your program. I'm taking people down a very simple path to understand what's going on. If you want to get a link as to, you want to get this download, right? You want to get this download, okay? Period. If you want to get this download, period. There's a lot of stuff about Schiff. We're focusing on these committees. I'm not focusing on him being a kid diddler like some people say. I'm not focusing on him going to Epstein Islands like some say. Not doing it. Why? Because I want you to understand how the machine works. That's why my name's on the program. right? And so I want you to focus on this intelligence report because it begins your journey. I'm going to tell you why it begins your journey. Some people may say, oh, you've got to look at this incredible broadcaster. He's got all the deal, and here it is. And Schiff was a pimp, and here's what he did in Traffic Kids. And then you go to the link, and you find out it's some kid who used to work at Taco Bell, who covers politics, but now talks about this because everybody talks about it and says that. That's not what I do. And it's not what I'm ever going to do. If you don't understand how this works from the inside, we can't fix it. And by the way, if you get your information from somebody who's never been there and a headline regurgitator, all you're going to do, right? Let me figure out how to. I'll use a good example for you, right? I'll use a good example for you. And I think this is why we miss so many things. I think as a society, we don't learn. I think as a society, we're trained, oh, look over here, squirrel over here, oh, look over here, look over here. Between a mix of people who won't even use their real names, right? I use my real name so you can look me up online, find out what I do, etc. I'm always suspicious of people who don't use their real names. Then all of a sudden they come out of nowhere and they plant all these little seeds, which is fine. I'm telling you, right? In an evil world, biblically controlled by Satan, yes. Is it 1% of the population? Who knows? 2% of the population? Who knows? Be generous. Say 20% of the population. See, I don't have to educate people. I don't have to educate people that our world's broken. You'd have to be idiotic. You'd have to be a total freaking idiot to think that for years, right, I've been doing something else instead of informing people about how broken our system is. Now, part of why we miss the mark, right? Part of why we miss the mark, especially as conservatives, is because nobody understood how it connected. Nobody understood how it worked. So we live in a society right now that doesn't value teaching. And here's kind of the hierarchy that comes through. There are people that have christened themselves brand new Christians, and they're out to prove how Christian they are. Stupid stuff like wearing a cross on the outside of their shirt. And then they're going to bang Bible. Bang, 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 bang on everything. The opposite other end of the spectrum are the people that think they know more than everybody, that say, my Uncle Willie's hound dog knows this raccoon who talks to a monkey who does code, and look at this report. And see, that's the other end of the spectrum. Now, the system keeps everybody juggling these sources, which is exactly, right, what the mainstream media does. They want you juggling simple bites. It's identical to the way that people will look up a Bible quote and then interpret what it means. And it's just a quote of the Bible instead of understanding its letters and it goes in context. You got to understand it in context. And so in this world, there's all kinds of people that believe they know better, they know the secret, they know what it is. But not a one of them will take the time to teach everybody, here's the process and here's why this is dangerous. See, I kind of accept that in this day and time, everybody knows we're slaves controlled by rat bastards. Can I get an amen if you're in that category? If you're in that category, that you understand we're slaves controlled by rat bastards. I want to know if you know that. We're slaves controlled by rat bastards. We're slaves controlled by rat bastards. The rat bastards push us around like slaves. Is anybody not clear on that? So any messianic posters coming in to save us all, I want to let you know, we already know we're slaves controlled by rat bastards. Now, there's a difference between us as slaves. See, instead of stomping the bricks of clay into the mud and making more bricks in the wall, right? And we look out across the media and we look out across the podcasters that are quote unquote think they're teaching us. And it's like, hey, teachers, leave us kids alone. Because see, we here focus on how does this system work? How do we dismantle it? Now, here's the deal. If you don't know all the players, if you don't know how it works, if you don't know where it exerts their control, right? You can't do anything to fix it. So chasing squirrels, chasing podcasters, chasing a little bit of this or that, or hey, that kid from Taco Bell, it's like he really knows politics. Well, I heard from that dude that's an exercise physiologist and full-time dad at home raising a baby that when he was talking about this and law and applicators, he says it's this. You follow what I'm saying? So what I don't do is I don't chase the noise, right? What I do is I'm more like laser. You know those little bitty lasers that cut very far from a distance and will set shit on fire? That's kind of what I am. That's kind of what my program is. Believe it or not, I see all the chats. I see all the names. I know when somebody's new, right? Yeah, did you get all my 80s music points in there? You did get it, right? I worked in a little Pink Floyd. Did you like that? Good, you're paying attention. See, because I believe if you don't know how these rat bastards do it to us, all you can do is bitch and complain. And you know one thing I hate? Bitchers and complainers. I freaking hate bitchers and complainers. I can go all across this country and I can find people collectively bitching about the same stuff. But see, I'm a kid in the back room that I'm talking with the smart kids. And we're figuring out how to eradicate this shit. So I don't care about the worlds that bitch and complain. By the way, see, I think part of it is the bitchers and complainers think bitching and complaining is being proactively involved. Not at all. In fact, it's the lamest form of participation there is. That's it. The lamest form of participation. If all you can do is bitch and complain, right? You're not helping the problem. And so you should think of my program as a little bit different. I'm going to teach you how to be a kick-ass, laser-focused, bring down the system warrior. And you know this. It takes dedicated training. You're right. Like all those bullshit people, no King's Day, standing out the corner, bitch and complain, bitch and complain, bitch and complain, bitch and complain. Does nothing, doesn't move the needle. See, I like to move the needle. I like to cut like a laser. Now, when you think of it on its face, and I'll give you a prime face, this guy learned how to go along. This guy's only skill is following directions and making sure he bitches and complains. This guy's is an actor in my book. His job is to follow directions, bitch, and complain. Now, I'm on the opposite end. I'm just like the man himself. Cut right to it. Laser cut it, get through the shit, no matter what, fucking take names and stop the shit. This is why, when you really think about it, this is why I teach. It's kind of like the 70s, right? You're watching a Chuck Norris movie or Bruce Lee movie, you watch some little move, you think you know one move. And that's the kid that ended up getting his ass kicked because he really didn't know anything, but thought he did. What we do here is try to train. I have come to the conclusion almost everybody in government or those that hang around government are rat ass-kissing bastards. I've heard a lot of people talk good games. I've heard a lot of people say the right things. They can be laser focused. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait, I could be up for an appointment. I could be put on a committee. Boom, they play the game. I can't do that. And I won't do that. And so I get to, from afar, be who I am. And as I look through this, remember, my job is seeing the future and patents, etc. Right? My job is to look way out in the future to understand what's going to come, how's it going to happen, where are the gaps, and what we should be doing. And so I apply that particular skill that God gave me to this stuff. And as I look at America, now let me tell you what I believe about America, just real quick, for those that are new that haven't experienced me to an extent before. Let me tell you how I look at it. I'm a first generation American, get ready, Jew. I am so close to the core of what it means to be an American that from my unique perspective, I can see it. I'll give you an example. My own grandfather, look at me sitting here today in 2025 talking to you, okay? Yeah, oh my God, you said Jew. As I sit here today, my grandfather, think about this, was born in 1895. Isn't that wild? Now, the reason I tell you that is because just kind of this, but weird happenstance, whatever God decided to put me here for, I come from a very, very long line of people on one side that have been in the Americas forever. I'm just talking forever. And then on the other side, it's the reverse. Took an act of God to get them to America in modern times. That's my mother and my grandmother. And so it's really odd that I kind of look at this, because I can see the American side really deep and patriotic and fighting for this country and being here forever, right? Yeah, good too. And then I can see this other side, right? That's newbie Americans. Now, it's really interesting in my own family. I tell you this is perspective where I come from. My father's side, right? A combination of Protestants, Church of Christ, Baptists, etc. By the way, if anybody wants to email me information, I'm so reachable, it's nuts. It's my name, JovanHuttonPulitzer at Gmail. You can reach me. You can reach me on any platform and message me directly. All my channels are wide open. And so on one side, all these Baptists, all these Church of Christ, all of Pentecostal, a lot of Pentecostals, right? Even Jehovah's Witnesses. One of my uncles became a Jehovah's Witness. Now, on my side, my sister's side, etc., you get your Judaism from your mother. My mother's from an exceptionally long line of Jews. Anyway, and so when I look at this thing called America, and I understand what it took, even for my grandmother, which was one of the very first non-Prussian marriages in my family, long lines, Austria, Germany, Switzerland, etc. She got to America on her own, even before her child did, because of an American war hero, my step-grandfather, got her in country during the war, one of only seven German women that got out of Germany and came to America. And so on my California side, because that's where long, hardcore, hard-fought Republicans. My mother came later, which is how she ultimately met my father. So when I look at this thing that we have, I got this really interesting thing coming from a legacy of people that have been here and fought for it, and people that fought to come here legally that came from oppression. And so I think from my eyeballs standpoint, my mind standpoint, it really gives me a unique way to maybe look at this stuff. Now, set that aside for a moment, right? Normally, I tell people my mom's from Iceland, my dad's from Cuba. They go, oh, wow, that's cool. And I tell them, yeah, I'm probably the very first ice cube you ever met. But of course, I'm just screwing with their head. But anyway, and so I have this, and books have been written about it. You can go on Amazon. All kinds of books have been written about my particular family line. Because if you were to go back in all the families, there's a half a dozen times through grandparents, through ancestors, that the two sides were in a war against each other. Right? At any one of those times throughout history, going way back, if the wrong ancestor of mine would have died, I wouldn't be here. Right? I just wouldn't be here. And so I look at it and go, what am I supposed to do with this? And then I think about my particular skills, going, how can I make sense of this? And since it seems like there's a lot of new people listening, let me play you something, guys. You've seen this before, but for the new folks, just so you understand my background.
Great ideas are brought to life by great thinkers. One such thinker, Jovan Pulitzer, has contributed over 500 patents to our technological world. The United States Patent Office shows that as many as 40 new inventions have stemmed from each of his pioneering patents. Today, built upon his incredible success, JovanHuttonPulitzer innovates in the areas of virtual and augmented reality, data analytics and global data platforms, nanoanalytics, healthcare systems, mobile streaming communications, as well as monetization technologies. Some of his groundbreaking innovations are right in front of you every single day. A barcode has long been just a bunch of lines on the bottom of a box of cereal. But today, every product, article of commerce, and even people have a unique identifiable code. Everything in the world has become interconnected, and like magic, we can use our device's camera to read barcodes and unique QR codes. A now ubiquitous technology that Jovan ideated and patented. For a long time, software was purchased on floppy disks and CDs, and it was a hassle when there was an update to install. Today's devices know when there is an update available, and then automatically take care of that behind the scenes for us. Another one of Jovan's patents that we take for granted every day. Several years ago, viewing the same website from a computer to a laptop to a mobile device always seemed to make it look wonky and broken. Thanks to one of Jovan's patented ideas, websites fit perfectly into the screen you're looking at. That's what we call responsive design. We all remember when taking a toll road meant digging around your car for loose change to pay the attendant. What a traffic jam. These days, manned toll booths are a rarity. A tag in our vehicles linked to our credit card automates the payment process. Our inventor Jovan Pulitzer innovated the device that lives in your car and the system to capture and process that message.
So I think for me, something really weird happened in this combination that ultimately beget me, right? Long line of rednecks. Long line of rednecks and patriots and stuff that fought, right? Fought for our country, and we're here. Even all the way to the Irish ancestry, the Irish famine and all that, just all the derivatives. And on this other side, because remember, we're a nation of the oppressed. Most people don't understand that we're a nation of the oppressed. Meaning our nation got founded because we were tired of rat bastards screwing us, right? And on this other side, I still got a lot of that German creativity gene, etc. So sound corrected now? Creativity gene and whatever. And so I kind of got this interesting thing. And so I sit here as a really odd combination that it's almost like I can kind of see this clearly of what the hell went wrong. So on the American side, I think we got dumbed down. We got complacent. We had it good. We thrived as a country, right? Everybody's got a home and whatever. We're not living in the streets and in squalor. And like we see all these other countries in the world. And as an American, predominantly, I'm not saying you're here, but as an American, man, we kind of got soft and cushy. Which means we forgot why we had it so good. And we forgot what made us good. And then the other side fought to get here. So I had that gene to fight to get here. And so how all this connects is I've learned, just like it's theology or whatever, if we actually don't learn and we only get talked at or talked to instead of instructed, this shit's going to go down. And I look back at my ancestors, so close to me, fought to get here for freedom. And I could do the stuff you just saw in the video because I was dumb enough to believe I could and believe if you can dream, it can do it. It's about to go away. And it only goes away because we're just not taught anymore. And so like Schiff, right? This guy right here, and this is where it is. If we understood the responsibilities our lawmakers can assume, we would stop doing it as a popularity contest instead of just going along. See, California and in New York and stuff, they got trained, just go along, we know who's right. Well, that's how we get these kind of people in. This is how we get these kind of people in. But then we're taught it's not polite to ask questions. It's not polite to keep pushing. And so these guys end up ruling us. Now look at this guy. You know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is the most effeminate, weak meat puppet, one of the worst ones, right, there ever is. And so you get into this. These guys don't get in because they get voted in. They get in because our elections aren't safe. And they haven't been safe for a long time. And they push us around like pawns. They put their people in, their figureheads in. And this is how we get Shifty Shift. Now, when you jump from elections as what do it to us, think about this. That guy was at the top of the list receiving and reviewing classified briefings from our agencies. He oversaw the FBI and the Department of Justice and their national security investigations. This guy is the one that signed off on subpoenas and declassification decisions, what we could see or not. This guy's the one that coordinates at the top with our director of national intelligence. This guy led the committee that got us Trump-Russia investigation and the first impeachment inquiry. Think about that for a moment. This guy came to power by following the system's directives. He is a mental midget. But the mental midget, because he followed directions, got put into power. He didn't get voted in. He never got voted in. But see, the system will let you have bad guys. They will let you. He laughs all the way to the bank being a pencil neck. He laughs. He laughs because he knows he's a pawn of the system, but look at what he controls. So these guys think, screw you. So let me ask you a question. If the BS rumor that was out there about Schiff, and when I say BS, meaning we don't have any real hard facts, it's still in the way I mean it. If it was about he was diddling a child and he OD'd a child and whatever, and that's what Anthony Bourdain saw, and Anthony Bourdain was going to be the witness to come forward, and then all of a sudden Anthony Bourdain self-eliminates. You follow what I'm saying? Does that matter in the scope of this? No. Because, see, the system will always give us bad guys, rat bastards, cuck rat bastards to the system. And we'll put it on, right? We'll put it on people. But I'm trying to go past the people. Because the system puts in what they need to move us. So in the game of it all, if Shifty Schiff goes to prison and has prison sex 5 or 6 times a day, it changes nothing. and it will not change anything. So if you look at a lot of the superficial talk, the system gives us, they will give us people that they'll pay great, right? That will take the risk. I'm going to have a lot of money, have a lot of sex, have a lot of fun, or whatever. I don't care if they hate me. You don't have to like me because they're laughing all the way to the bank. But we focus on the people. What we don't see is the system in place underneath. We don't see the power. This guy controlled what classified materials could be discussed publicly. He personally decided what staff could ascertain certain files and when the matters got referred to the Department of Justice. Now, let's say that in all those agencies, we had 90% good people. When they place somebody in like that, right? When they place somebody in like that, you got to believe they know where the bad guys are. So who do you think he gets to corroborate the bullshit he says? The ones that are going to play along. The other guys are totally in the dark, probably trying to do their job right. And see, that's the grand cloaking. The grand cloaking is same in elections. You get people that have worked in elections 20 or 30 years. A lot of great, wonderful people. And they will swear up and down their election was flawless. Nothing happened. We didn't throw away ballots. We didn't do this. And the answer is they're right. But see, it's those that got placed in that did things, and it only takes a few. It only takes a few. Now, what has happened is a staffer has come forward, like I showed you what they were responsible for, and basically said, you know what? Schiff was a bad guy. Supposedly it's a Democrat whistleblower who basically started talking about this in 2017, and nobody would listen. So they shut up to keep their job. But now it's finally coming out that Schiff, using his power as ranking member and then later chairman of the House Intelligence Committee during the Trump-Russia investigation, basically authorized the leak of classified intelligence to the media to personally damage President Trump. The quote, and I've given you this download. You can find it over on my locals, right? I've given you the whole download. You can read it. The quote is that Schiff, during an all-staff meeting, explicitly said that the group will leak classified information, which is derogatory and damaging to President Trump. And then once that was leaked and get out to the media, that they will use it to indict President Trump. Pay attention. Under his control. Under his control. And you can get the people, thank you for posting the download, right? So you understand how this works. That's what the downloads I like, because I always do documents with it. This guy took classified information, made it, twisted it to be bad, and gave it a story with it. They intentionally leaked it. They required the press to run it. I've told you this before, and I need you to understand this. One of the ways we don't get enforcement in elections. Now, this is going to really drop your drawers if you haven't heard me say this before. But listen, one of the standards out there for pursuing election crimes is, has it been investigated? In the law standards, who do they think investigate the crimes? Now get ready. Journalists. And so there's this very interesting thing in law procedure that if the media doesn't talk about it, true story, you can look at it. If the media doesn't talk about it, since they have all the investigators, since they have all the journalists, then it must not be true. Most people don't even know that. Most people do not even know that there's an element in law enforcement and getting things done. Well, if it's not out there in the press, then it must not be true. Hell, they have all these investigators. We don't. They can do all that. We're working on these cases. That's how it works. And so what happens when you get a bad guy like this and they season something up and they throw it out there, they need it to be run. So they manipulate it. They get it out to their press buddies. Their press buddies say, something's here. This is bad. They publish it. It makes a circle through the public, and then it comes back to these guys. Well, we got to look at it. Oh, damn. We've got to impeach. That's how it works. That's the circle. That's how they all collude together. That's why it's the unholy trinity. And this guy's the top of the chain. And now you understand why, they controlled the media. Smith Monk kicked it out the door. They don't have to tell the truth anymore. He specifically instructed the staff, and I don't believe there are any real journalists anymore, that they would leak classified information, which was made to make President Trump look bad. It's nothing more than, look at this report. We better keep this classified. And they send it in. Well, they keep it classified because it names politicians. You're talking the dossier. What should have never been there was junk. Oh, look at this. Just because it's classified doesn't mean it's truth. And then they leak it. Do you see how the dunk, 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 dunk? That's how it goes. That's how these guys do this. Now, you have to understand the smoking gun here is just like let me give you an example. I can teach you this in a better way, I think. I can teach you this by showing you an example. Let me find it real quick. Just please bear with me, okay? Because I'm going to show you this circle. Let me get my eyeballs on. Okay, I'm going to go here, here. Okay. I'm gonna show you an analogy so you understand what's up. I'm gonna take you back to 2020, a little over a week before the election. Okay, I'm gonna take you back to 2020. I'm gonna help you understand what Schiff and them done. Now, I'm going to help you understand the role that media plays into it. I'm going to help you understand how the system controls us. And it's this unholy trinity between media and academia and our government. Now, watch this. It's about a 2-minute clip. It's Bernie Sanders on Jimmy Fallon. Many of you have seen it. Some of you haven't. This is Bernie telling the world down to the states and the times what's going to happen a week and a half in the future. Pay attention.
The election is November 3rd, and it's been said that we won't know the results until days later. When do you think we'll know the results?
All right. Jimmy, you raise an important point. and I hope the American people understand it, because this is something I worry about. My view is every vote must be counted. For reasons which I don't have the time to get into tonight, you're going to have a situation, I suspect, in states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, other states, where they are going to be receiving huge amounts of mail-in ballots. And unlike states like Florida or Vermont, they're not being able, for bad reasons, to begin processing those ballots until, I don't know, election day, or maybe when the polls close. That means you're going to have states dealing with perhaps millions of mail-in ballots. Here is my worry. What polls show and what studies have shown is that for whatever reason, Democrats are more likely to use mail-in ballots. Republicans are more likely to walk into polling booths on election day. It is likely that the first votes that will be counted will be those people who came in on election day, which will be Republican. And here is the fear, and I hope everybody hears that. It could well be, and I don't know what's going to happen, nobody does, but it could well be that at 10 o'clock on election night, Trump is winning in Michigan, he's winning in Pennsylvania, he's winning in Wisconsin, and he gets on the television, he says, "Thank you, Americans, for re-electing me. It's all over. Have a good day." But then the next day and the day following, all of those mail-in ballots start getting counted, and it turns out that Biden has won those states. At which point Trump says, "See, I told you the whole thing was fraudulent. I told you those mail-in ballots were crooked, and we're not going to leave office." So that is a worry that I and a lot of people have. So the results, we don't know what's happened. Maybe the results will be on election day, but people should be aware.
Now, Bernie knew about every state, stopped counting. They always tell you just have to understand the listen. They knew how it was going to be done, etc. All the way to the end, saying Trump wasn't going to leave office, which was the lead in to January 6th crap. I need you to understand how this works, because only when you understand the scope and the tactics do you understand how we have to fight this. Now, I'm going to go back to Shifty Schiff. That was before the 2020 election. Shifty Schiff, Shifty Schiff, before the Russia shit, said to his staff, our group is going to leak classified information which is derogatory to President Trump. So it's in 2017. Trump is in, but they need to find something to get him out. So they leak it. But he went on to say that material will then be used to indict President Trump. The whistleblower back then said this is unethical and possibly treasonous. But all the people, now this is a Democrat, said, don't worry, these leaks can never be tracked back. Nobody's going to find out. First off, that's federal racketeering. Second of all, it was found out. This is what you have to understand. This is how it's done. And it's a coordinated effort. And so and it works both ways. Here's the kicker. Schiff used it so they could get prosecution, which is what they did. How did Bernie use it? This is what you never understand. Remember when Biden said they put together the largest voter fraud organization in history? And you heard Bernie tell, here's the plan. Do you know why those things happen? So you don't understand a simple truth. You don't understand a simple truth. By Biden, you think it's a stupid boo-boo. No, it's incredibly smart. We've created the largest fraud organization ever in the history of elections, whatever the quote is. He told the truth. The system and the people did nothing about it. He just let himself off the hook. See, the same way they can incriminate people, they build in a way to make themselves. I told you, can't prosecute. We told you exactly what was going to happen. That's how it works. Now, the law of the universe is very simple in Satan's domain, which we live in. Sorry, it's just the truth that the evil people say it and then they execute on it. Why? Because good people, honest people didn't push back. And the law of good and evil is, well, if people with free will didn't push back, okay, you're free to go. That is how this works. Period. So is it about one little BS line, one little podcast, or get the rope, get the rope, get the rope, get the rope, get the rope? If this guy in any way ended up deceased, what changed with the system? Put it in chat. If this guy today was found with a 4-year-old on his wanker, one on his left foot, one on his right foot, one on his left hand, one on his right hand, and one sitting straddled his face. Sorry to be graphic, but it's the truth. What would change about what we're going through? Here's all you would get. I told you he was bad. I knew he was a pedophile. And then a lot of people just move on. But I want you to know, not a fucking thing will change. Not a thing. And the system knows it because nobody takes the time to learn. See, when you learn how they do it, you learn what you really should focus on. But the system gives you all these squirrels to chase. They give you all the bad men. Look, I'm the guy that told you not to go to D.C. back in 2020, what was going to happen. A lot of people didn't listen. Look what happened to them. I'm the one that told you how they do this and show you how they do it. It's all an orchestrated plan. And until you get laser focused on it, you don't understand how to fix it. And we've got to fix this. I'm the one that told you George Soros was not the issue. I told you they paid him to do what he did. What'd you find out finally when Elon gets in with USAID? Holy shit, here's where the money came from. It wasn't Soros's money ever. This is it. That's why I need you to understand what happens. When you begin, I'm telling you folks, it's like buying a new car. You basically... And that's why, they had to have the media shut down. That's why it's important to have people of credibility, people of acumen, people of means to actually do true reporting on what it is and absolutely verifiable, bulletproof facts, not the regurgitate. Well, he had 7 rays of light and he wore red tennis shoes. Do you know how belittling and degrading that is to the conservative movement that you repeat that bullshit? It's designed to destroy us. They will always give you little squirrels to chase, and you fucking amplify it, which means we all lose credibility. So all these people that are going for freaking clicks, they've actually been hijacked by the system, which keeps us from fixing the system. You can only fix the system when you know how it works, so you know where the true pressure points are. Now, just so you know, there are fines in this. Leaking classified information has fines up to $250,000 per count. There are certain conspiracy and interference statutes that could apply, but it has to be read into if the intent was to undermine the United States, not to undermine the person. See the fine line there? They could get 20 years in prison for undermining the United States. But did they go after the United States? No, they went after Trump. Trump was what was fixing the United States. You understand how shrewd these people are? That's why they want to tell you Trump is a dictator. Trump is a fascist. Trump is a Nazi. Do you understand that? Because when they place it that way, they're not undermining the United States of America. They just hate Trump. That gives them the cover by which they can't be prosecuted. Because if they said the United States is bad, the United States is evil, we got to get rid of the United States, treason. This is how it works. And that's why they have to chip away, and have to actually do it different ways. And I've always taught you words matter. And if you don't understand the words they're using and what they intend to do, you never see the plan for what it is. And you focus on the very thing that gives them an excuse, the individual. So here are the different things that could happen, right? You could have unlawful disclosure of classified materials. That could be an issue. You could have conspiracy in this, okay, if they can find that other people agreed to it. Now, I can tell you on the face of it, when other HPSCI people said, well, don't worry, nobody will ever find the link. Conspiracy in this one might be pretty easy because they told the one whistleblower, well, don't worry, nobody will ever find it. Now, that technically is a conspiracy in there. So it shows coordination, but it's coordination against Trump. Is it an abuse of office or official misconduct? You better bet. Okay. Is it obstruction of justice or manipulation of investigations? You bet it is. Is it a misuse of power for political gain? Now, there's where a lot of the sticking matter is, because it was all about political gain. They want the upper hand. They wanted Trump out because Trump was America. Why do you think the GOP, folks, it's all right in front of you. If you go back to when Donald Trump ran, the GOP was terrified that Trump would start a new party. Do you remember that? Go backwards. Do you remember that? They were terrified Trump would start a new party because Trump could have done it. So they made sure he couldn't do that. You know how they, and yes, I'm getting flushed because I'm angry. I'm getting flushed because this is all so apparent and people don't see the play, don't understand how this works. The GOP was terrified Trump would start a different party, different rules, different quality people. So the GOP says, well, we'll help you get elected. We'll do this, but you have to become a member of the GOP. Now, why did they do that? The moment President Trump accepted, okay, I'll run on behalf of the GOP, he became owned by the GOP. Now, I don't mean as a person, when you get all these freaking emails asking for money and they use President Trump, that's not President Trump. That money doesn't even go to him. They now get to fundraise off his name, but then they're playing by GOP rules. They were terrified way back when in 2015 that a new party was going to come up. So the GOP stuck Lindsey, what was his freaking name, on Trump, made him play nice. He was all subversion inside. And they got all their GOP players on it. They couldn't afford another party. It comes down to the parties and what they're doing. And so they needed to stay within those parties because now the GOP basically controls the Trump name that way. This is why that last part, Lindsey Graham, last part of misuse of power and political gain. It's complex. It's complex. But this is how it works. We don't have two parties, folks. We have a uniparty. We are completely and totally captured. If you're of the mind that we've got to stop from being captured, you're not up to speed. We are fully 100% captured. We're in a far worse position, and we got to dig our way out. That's why chasing all these fucking squirrels, and I'm trying not to use that word anymore, but chasing all these squirrels, chasing all these bad guys. Oh, it's pizza this, it's this and this and this. It's all a game. It's the machines, it's PCAPs. It's all a game to distract from how do you really fix the system. Because it's only when we fix the system that we're going to get out from under it. Now, can there be penalties? Yeah, you heard about $250,000 fine. Now, can there be criminal penalties? Yes, there can. And it depends upon the severity of it. But let's look at this. Was the dossier that they leaked, it was Trump likes to be pissed on her, this other stupid stuff. It was about the man. They watch these rules really close. That's why you see so many things not getting enforced behind the scenes, because they already know we can't do anything. They made it about the man, not the party, not the country. And so it's a very sophisticated, high-stakes games where you just hope the other side truly screws up. But the only ones really with power to clean it is us, which is what the system can't afford for us to understand. And I'm not talking about rebellion, and I'm not talking about riots, and I'm not talking about revolution. It's just knowledge base right now. So yes, there could be criminal penalties. And if they can show the espionage part of it, or the leaked statutes, remember, if I remember it correctly, the bullshit dossier funded by Hillary through a law firm hired a foreign guy. He did the bullshit dossier, created it. Then he came in and said, you need to look at this. It was given, Trump bad. Then it was Lindsey Graham who took it and went over here, and McCain at the time says, guys, you got to look at this. It was all orchestrated, but they need those little pieces because it's one removed, never going back to the thing. Now, could he lose loss of privileges from committee positions? Sure. Does it change anything? No. Could he be expelled from the House? Sure. Now, do you catch what the rig is? Have you kind of noticed the guys that are really getting hung out to dry? Mitch McConnell's, Nancy Pelosi's. Are you really paying attention? Or who they use, Joe Biden? It's because these guys are long in the teeth and have cycled out. You think they give a fuck if they lose privileges? No. They're raking in the cash. So what? Okay, I got to retire. And people consider that a win. No. The old guys make the bank by being able to do this because they're old. Do you think them stepping down, right, is going to ruin their reputation? They already have damaged reputations. If the Mitch McConnells and all these rat bastards in the world, you think they're worried about any career consequences? Fuck no. They've already termed out. They're aged out. Are they worried about civil penalties? You better believe it. The young crowd is worried about what does this do for future oversight. Now, do you understand why there's so many freaking old geezers doing this? Because they have a built-in exit plan. Okay, I was bad. I guess I'll retire. See ya, guys. And then they're gone. I have just laid out for you the entire formula and playbook. How it works. It's all words. How it's collusion. It is RICO. But it has a very systematic proven formula, and this is how it happens. And the only thing that is in between are all these other little heroes they stick up that you can't even see its packaging. You can't even see its packaging. I'll give you the prime example. Somebody wearing a blue shirt that has to have their cross on the outside. By the way, news fucking flash, if you're really a Christian changing the world, you don't have to convince the world you're really a Christian changing the world. You just do it. Theater. Uniparty playbook. It is only when the people get wise and understand what are their rights, what are their projections, and how do you nail these rat bastards that anything happens. That's it. 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 And they will always push you away from the truthful information. That's the con, folks. That's how the con works. So I'm going to draw your attention to a Q code up here. I don't play that game. I'm not in the in crowd. I don't get invited to the pizza parties. I don't go on the speaking circuit because they're afraid what I'll say. Because I don't play that game. And folks, we need your help. And I'm going to tell you something really wonky, right? Pay attention here. Obama had 69 million votes. He was supposed to be the rock star. Then his second term, 65. Then Hillary against Trump, 65. Then Biden at 81. And then Kamala closes the night at 68. Since that time, they've got Kamala up to 74,749,891, but that was in May. Look at the date at the top of this. May 21st, 6:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last update. Guess what? Guess what? As we check these things daily, and y'all point out to me, they have now added to Kamala another 226,000 confirmed votes. We are 1 year later, almost to the day, and they just dropped another 220,000 votes onto her totals that are now the official totals because they're trying to close that gap so they can use it again. It's coming in the midterms. It's what they're going to do. And folks, that is why, oh God, why we need your help.
Our courts are based on clear and convincing evidence. Want convictions? Want justice? For what happened in the 2020 election? Then we need your help. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The decision you make in the next few moments could decide whether we ever get our elections fixed or not. Here's why. Trump campaign and allies file 64 different lawsuits. They all went down in flames. 100% of these cases were presented on "It's the machines," or "The machines changed the votes," or "The voting company executive said he would make sure Donald J. Trump would not win." They all went down in flames. Why? You can't bring theories to court as evidence. No supposed Zoom call or six-degree polynomial math theory or census data is or ever will be proof of fraud. You can't bring theories to court as evidence. Here's why. In both civil and criminal law, the side making a claim carries the burden of proof, and prosecutors must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Without physical or otherwise verifiable evidence, a case cannot meet this high threshold. Physical evidence is the key. The question is, did anyone get relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election? And the answer is yes, absolutely. The full forensic audit of Maricopa County, Arizona is the only evidence-gathering work which gathered relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election. Evidence so damning that the system, the deep state, and those who pulled the strings of this country have fought to keep it hidden and have hoped to have it be forgotten to time. Almost $3 million invested in time, funds, and efforts to unlock that which the system wanted hidden. But now, that evidence is in danger of being lost forever. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. With the 2026 midterms coming up, the system is going to try to lame duck President Trump and then most likely introduce new impeachment proceedings. This is the evidence which will help win the war which is surely to come. We need to keep Maricopa County full forensic investigation and archive secure and ongoing. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We need your help securing the full forensic audit archives. Don't allow the only testable, objective, and reliable 2020 election evidence fall into obscurity. Millions were spent on getting it documented and tested. This is historic evidence. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County full forensic audit archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. Please donate now.
Fight for free and fair elections. Invent and scan the ballots of kinematic artifact detection. You love to read and learn, travel and explore. You're a fearless, brave-heart patriot who's opened doors. You are courage, you're our voice. Jovan, we thank you for what you're fighting for. You're our warrior. You are brave like a lion. You're David fighting Goliath, couldn't ask for more. You're our warrior. Think of what you've done for you, for me, for our country. You'll go down in history as our warrior. You lead by God and always do what's right. In the battle for our nation, you lead the fight. We pray for your safety, the armor of God to protect you from all of us. Here's a thank you for all that you do. you're our voice. Jovan, we thank you for what you're fighting for. You're our warrior. You are brave like a lion. You're David fighting Goliath, couldn't ask for more. You're our warrior. Think of what you've done for you, for me, for our country. You'll go down in history as our warrior. Jovan, you're a hero we stand behind. We're inspired by the fire inside your eyes. American proud, we know you'll fight till your dying day, and we'll always stand behind you through everything. You are courage, you're our voice. Jovan, we thank you for what you're fighting for. You're our warrior. You are brave like a lion. You're David fighting Goliath, couldn't ask for more. You're our warrior. Think of what you've done for you, for me, for our country. You'll go down in history as our